If we're going to make an impact on both circular and sustainable economies, then we need to think about circular design in terms of driving impact. So we need to challenge ourselves as designers, but we can't do it alone. We need to work with our engineers, our marketeers. We need to think about the business models, because what we want to do is drive change at scale and make it sustainable. So it's not a one-off product anymore. We need to think about how we drive systemic change here. So we need to do things fundamentally different. And I think we need to embed circular design in the long-term strategic roadmaps of our businesses, and then also make sure that we're investing in educating the future workforce so they understand the nature of circular design as well, and the circular economy.
The circular economy is all about design, creating products, services, and systems that are by their very intention regenerative. So for the millions of people around the world who are involved in shaping how things work, there's an opportunity to take a new approach, using creativity and craft to discover impactful solutions. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from some of the world's leading designers on what circular design really means for them. My name is Joe Isles. I lead our circular design work here at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. First up is Sean Carney. Sean's the Chief Design Officer at Philips, and he's going to outline what circular design means to him and tell us about some examples of Philips's journey towards the circular economy so far. And Philips has made an ambitious commitment to the circular economy, including to generate, I believe, 25% of sales from circular products, services and solutions by 2025. Could you tell us a bit about how that impacts your work and how circular design actually plays a role in that?
We're becoming increasingly focused on healthcare and health technology. And if we look at CO2 emissions, for instance, more than 4% of the global CO2 emissions are actually caused by healthcare. That's not something I think a lot of people really think about. So, we really need to be conscious of this as we're trying to drive more access to care and increase efficiencies and effectiveness of the way care is delivered. And right now, the world's population is overusing resources across the board. So, and we're using it at a rate of 1.7 times the resource capacity of the planet. And, every hospital bed is averaging something around 13 kilograms of waste per bed per day. So there's huge opportunities to drive systemic change across the way healthcare is delivered. And that comes back to the role that we can play. And it's a great opportunity for designers to step in here and think about not only the hardware, the products and the way they're developed, but the way those products fit into, for instance, a care pathway, alongside software, alongside consumables, and the way care is delivered. So thinking more at a system level than particularly just at an individual product level.
A lot of people, circular design, when they think about circular design of products, they often think repair, remanufacturing, material selection. Are those all things that come into play for you as well, or are you solely looking at those kind of systems level things and the connections between the different parts?
You need to look at the whole thing. So we know that the choices we make when we're designing a product have an impact. Something like 80% of the product's total environmental impact comes from the decisions which are made during the design phase. So it's really important we understand how long will this product be used? What's the energy it's going to be drawing down? But you have to go further than just the material selection. You have to think about, how is this product going to be repaired? How is this product going to be upgraded? Can we keep this product in life in the hospital for longer through designing with a more kind of modular and platform-based approach? So it does require a kind of detailed thinking at the product level, but also to understand the context of use throughout the life of this product as well.
Next up, joining us in the studio is Asensio. Anne is the head of design at Dassault Systemes, the company that makes software used by hundreds of thousands of designers and engineers every day. And because innovating for the circular economy is about systems, it also requires new ways of working.
So as Sean was very clearly expressing it, design is not about the product, it's about the system, it's about thinking systematically about the full aspect of design that include not just the material extraction or the way we are recycling, but getting into the comprehensive understanding of the full process of design. And that's why I moved to Dassault Systems, because that's what they do. They are providing innovation to any industry to actually digitalizing their operation, their strategy, their product.
Can you explain a bit about how technology and software generally, and maybe with a reference to some of the projects you've been working on, can actually help with circular design? We talk about it as a new way of doing things. Well, how can technology help overcome some of those barriers, some of that inertia?
First, when we talked about technologies as wide and unprecise as innovation or any other things like designs, first we need to understand that what Dassault Systems does. Basically, this company that is going to be close to have is 40 years or old of existence is to digitalize the design process. That's really what is our aim. 3D, simulation, and what we call today the virtual twin. It's basically to virtualize the reality, every reality, the product, the service, the experience, the context, all into virtual universe, virtual environment, something that have a very barbarian words called model-based engineering system, that provide a possibility to actually have a twin of everything you do. We are providing those innovation to many industries, so we can actually gather a lot of intelligence through the way we basically are digitalizing all of those operations in various industry. So any best practice, any great idea we can find, by example, at Philips could be basically being very quickly reproduced, recontained, and reproposed to another industry. This is very possible due to this capacity of 3D and virtual twin. So in doing so, I would like to mention the fact that the question that we want to ask to ourselves is how we can empower and enable designers. Those technology that are not the digital technology that I may discuss later are clearly not in the hand of designers today. They are using 3D clearly for reproducing their product, to actually design a product, propose a product, a service or an experience, but they barely take this model-based system. What it means that you can manipulate a virtual product that gather all the information from all of the previous experiences that you may have as real evidence, of the real world evidence. So when you are talking about circular economy, if you are in a virtual world, you are basically circular. Because anything you learn in the virtual world enable you to actually understand the real world. And when you actually gather the data that you basically gain by reframing any problems in the real world, it gets back as data at the upfront of the process of design through that virtuous circle. So clearly those technology exist.
As we're creating and designing new hospitals, putting up new buildings, we're now increasingly doing a digital twin of that hospital up front and thinking about all of the way in which the different systems within that hospital are going to talk to one another. So we have BIM models, building standards, but we can now run predictive algorithms to anticipate how certain situations will be managed, looking at the patient flow, looking at the clinical pathways throughout that hospital. Now, as we do that, we will not be just impacting Philips products, we'll be interfacing with perhaps the heating, the ventilation systems, the planning software for the operating theatres, the lighting systems, the consumable materials in the canteen or the car parking. There are many other people who are impacting the way that building is actually going to be operating through digital twins and through artificial intelligence working off data collected from multiple sources, we can now predict the outcomes. And we can't do that as one industry alone. We need to interact with our peers in many other businesses as well, whether that be Danone on their food side, or maybe Philips Lighting Signify, or other companies like Honeywell, etc., who will come together increasingly to partner in building these digital twins to drive more of a circular economy.
And on the top of it, as you know, we can monitor. Circular economy is really about monitoring everything you do beyond just the state of design. How do you get extraction and material and track that material, where it comes from, how I use it. So it's gaining beyond just the scientific approach of what this material is made of, but where these materials come from and when it's going to go after my use and how it's being used. That kind of chain is a perfect way to enable companies to take basically action. I would like to say, by example, implement data from the circularity, that Ellen MacArthur is promoting. Anything, any data, any information, any learnings can actually nourish this model, but this model have to actually get access to every designers wherever they want.
Circular design is key in building a healthier, more prosperous, regenerative future. It's about more than just making products. It involves thinking of this whole system and redesigning it from the outset, from the materials sourced to how we use those products and what will happen to the products at the end. The possibilities are limitless. Thank you for watching, and we hope you've enjoyed this video. These are highlights from a longer conversation, which you can find in the description of this video. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter to be notified every time we go live. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in an upcoming episode of the Circular Economy Show.